Guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here, and it is an honor to be hosting your Instagram makeover. Okay, so we're going to get into the logistics, we're going to get into the party, but first we're going to chat a little bit about a few details. I would love for you to keep your questions until the end because I will be hosting a live Q&A. We're going to be answering as many as we can in a flurry. Remember, I talk fast. We're going to get through quite a few questions, and the questions are always my favorite part of this class because I get to connect with you and meet you exactly where you are. And also at the end of class, I'm going to be hosting a giveaway, which is one of my favorite things. So I think you're going to be definitely pleasantly surprised. We do not anticipate any tech issues whatsoever, but if you happen to need anything from the crew, all you have to do is type into the chat box and we'll make sure that you're taken care of. So just to make sure that we are on the same page, let's chat about what this class is going to be for you and how it's going to help. And just to make sure we're on the same page, you're in the right place if you want to get more Instagram followers. And you're in the right place if you want a strategy to turn those followers into customers. And you're in the right place if you want an Instagram makeover. So oftentimes people might say, okay, I kind of sort of signed up for this class. I'm not really sure. Let me answer why a makeover at this point in your business and on your Instagram is going to be a good thing. Because I can say that this makeover will help you identify who you're trying to attract. It's going to help you create content that they think is awesome. And it's going to position your business as the best thing since a free scoop of guacamole at Chipotle. Now, this morning, when I was practicing my notes, JD, my husband, turned to me. He was just like, people don't get free guacamole at Chipotle. And I was like, excuse me? I have gotten free guacamole at Chipotle, and it makes my day. So if your business can be like that for other people on Instagram, you're just going to basically be winning the game. Now, I should probably also clarify that you are in the wrong place. If you want to watch a free 1-hour presentation and then talk trash, when I offer the chance to join me investing in even more Instagram education, if that is you and you know what's coming, you know where the digital door is. So here is what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn how to take your account from to aw yeah. You're also going to learn how to get more followers, and not just any followers, but the right followers, the type of followers who turn into customers. And you're also going to learn how to use Instagram with a proven plan for success. So y'all, you're in the right place if these are the things that you want to learn. So for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with who I am, my name is Jasmine Starr, and I'm a photographer and business strategist. I live in Newport Beach, California, and I am fortunate to work with my husband and my business partner. His name is JD. We met and fell in love in high school, and he is actually the best thing since sliced bread. So he's the best thing since sliced bread, and all of our businesses are the best things since a free scoop of guacamole at Chipotle. So together we have basically avocado toast. Hey, okay. We also work with our dog. We work from home. His name is Polo. And the only reason why I bring him up is sometimes when I teach online classes, the dog will start barking maniacally when the FedEx guy comes or the UPS guy comes. So if you hear my dog going crazy in the background, it's normal. We're just going to roll with it. So for those of you guys who are interested in why I'm so passionate and ardent about sharing what I know about Instagram to build businesses, the story starts for me in 2005. And in 2005, I was standing in the middle of the quad at UCLA Law School. And I remember looking around and I remember thinking how overwhelmed and how stressed and how sad I was. I looked around and I was like, is this it? Like, I've worked so hard and I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm sad. And I didn't think things could get any worse until I got a phone call from my father when he let me know that my mom had a relapse with brain cancer. And my day went from bad to terrible. And I knew that in that moment, the only thing I wanted to do was to be at home with my mom. The doctors had said her time had come and they're no longer going to be doing radiation or chemotherapy or brain surgeries. All her therapies had come to an end. And I was just like, I need to be with her. So in a split second, my life changed entirely in 2005. Because in 2005, I left law school. In 2005, I moved home to live with my parents. In 2005, I watched my mom for months lay listlessly on the sofa. But in 2005, my boyfriend proposed. And he said, the one thing that I want is for your mom to see us get married. So we got married in 3 months. And in 2005, my brand new husband looked at me and asked me if I could do one thing for the rest of my life. What would it be? And I said, I want to become a photographer. And he's like, okay, but you don't own a camera. I was like, but if I did own a camera, I really think I could do something with it. Because the thing that I realized at the time was that life was short. My mom was 50 years old and I was 25 years old. And I thought to myself, what if I just have 25 years left in my life? Like, I don't want to die a lawyer. I don't want to be this sad. I don't want to feel so listless and endless. Like, this is the thing. I feel like I've been called to do something more. And so while other people might hear that story and think, well, that's nice and sweet, honey, but you got to go back to law school. My crazy and amazing new husband gifted me a camera that I opened on January 1st, 2006. Because on January 1st, 2006, it was the start of a new year. And I said to myself, whatever happened in 2005, I have to let it go. I need a new chance to start my life over again. So I opened this new camera and I'm feeling so excited. And I put the battery in the wrong way. And I realized that I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm really terrible. Like, I'm like a really awful photographer. And all of a sudden I started doubting myself. I'm like, I left law school to be a mediocre photographer. I don't even know what I'm doing. But I spent that year just assisting and schlepping bags. And I went to what I call the University of Google. I literally Googled every question I had about photography. And lo and behold, by the time 2007 came around, I started booking clients and shooting whatever I could. And in 2008, I really started honing in my business. And it was also the first year that I was able to work full time with my husband because the business started growing at such a fast pace. And then by 2009, I was voted one of the top photographers in the world. And then I was being invited to speak to other organizations and people were asking, how are you building your business on social media? Which over that same year, I was invited to speak to thousands and thousands of people about what it meant to grow a business. So much so that by 2010, I was voted one of the top 10 most influential photographers. And by 2012, I was voted the top 10 most socially influential photographers. Now, I only say that because it's about this time in the story that people are like, wait, what? You're telling me that you picked up a camera in 2006, and then by 2009, you're voted one of the top photographers in the world. Wait, how did that happen? Because in the back of the mind, I happen to think and know by the admission by a lot of people hear that story and they think to themselves, you were unqualified. Like, who were you to do that thing and start that business? And whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh, hold on, honey. Let me one up you real quick. Because I wasn't just unqualified. I was unprepared. I was unfunded. I was undereducated. I was under all of those things that people would say, you're destined to be a failure. But guess what? You're right. I couldn't disagree with anything people were saying. I was underqualified and underfunded and underprepared. And I was all of those things. I was, in fact, an underdog. But I still did it. I looked at the odds stacked against me and I said, I know it's a really tall mountain to climb, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to teach myself on Google and I'm going to go out and find whatever free resources that I could use to build my business. And so that's what I did. I started my business using social media and connecting with other people. And now that's my message. I speak to other people who have the odds stacked against them, who look at the mountain of fear and doubt in their future and they say, I don't think it's going to work. And I look across the aisle and I said, I feel you, boo-boo, but guess what? If you keep that thing in focus and you leverage free resources like social media, you can grow. Now, on that note, whenever I say that, people are like, yes, but how did you grow your business? Like, we want to get into the specifics. Well, I started a blog in 2006 and then Twitter came along a little bit after and I started realizing I can talk to prospective customers and other people in my industry one-on-one with Twitter. And then all of a sudden Facebook came around and I said, oh, these are one-on-one conversations that I'm having, but using different mediums. And then Instagram came around and I was like, my, oh my. The game has just changed. I have an online platform that empowers me to be where people are functioning and talking about my business in a visual and in a readable way. That was a game changer. So much so that Instagram took off for me and people started inviting me to speak to their businesses, small, medium, and large organizations to say, you were kind of like a hot mess and underqualified, but you somehow found a way to talk to people online. Can you come and teach us what you know? And this is the thing that I know, that if you want to grow your business and you want to attract dream customers, Instagram is the fastest way to do it. Now, I feel like I'm confident when I say that because I'm very active on Facebook. I'm active on YouTube. I'm active on Twitter. I'm active on Instagram. And being so active in all of these different things, I'm telling you that Instagram is where the party's at. Because if you've ever been to any of these online classes, this is about the time where somebody starts bringing in all these fancy statistics saying like, I'm going to prove my point by talking about a research study. No, you're not going to hear me say that. You're not going to hear me say that Instagram has now over 900 million active users. And you're not going to hear me say that Instagram boasts the highest engagement, which means that there are the most people there talking, engaging, interacting than any social platform. And you're not going to hear me say that Instagram is the fastest growing social app. No, you're not going to hear me say that. Because I know what you're going to tell me. You're here because you're like, Jasmine, I know Instagram's where it's at. That's why I'm here and I'm ready to jump in, but I don't have a lot of followers. I hear this again and again from people. And to me, I think not having a lot of followers is a good thing for two reasons. One, there's a lot of room to grow. And two, you can cultivate your audience wildly and do one-on-one connections. Very similarly to a student of mine, her name is Kat Donovan. When Kat and I first met and she went through my program, she had 715 followers. She attended a class similar to this. And when I had met, she was like, I need to make a change. And she says, in the last 10 days, since tweaking my feed and my bio, I have booked 3 weddings. 2 of the clients found me via Instagram, and the 3rd was directed to my feed by her mother. And when I heard that, I thought, my God. She had 715 followers, and in 10 days, she revolutionized her account. And so I followed up with that message, and I was like, oh, boo, tell me. And she said, for the 3 weddings, it was a total revenue of $15,000. It was roughly the same of what I made total for the previous year. In 10 days, Kat made total of what she had made in the previous 365 days. So my question to you is, do you have anywhere around 715 followers? Even if you have a little bit less, there is the possibility for you to make $15,000 on Instagram in a short time, because it's not just that it had happened to Kat, it happens to other students of mine. So what does this show us? It shows and it proves to me that you don't need hundreds of thousands of followers to have a successful business on Instagram. Hundreds of engaged people will make magic for you. In fact, the same thing happened to Chelsea Mason. When our paths first crossed over a year ago, Chelsea had less than 1,000 followers. So less than 1,000 followers, and then homegirl sends me a message that's along the lines of within 1 year, she went from making $36,000 to over $120,000 leveraging Instagram. She uses no other marketing as part of her business. She said, I went from a $36,000 income to $120,000 income, moved into my dream house, bought the car I was saving for, and I've been featured in magazines who found me on Instagram, all within a year. So y'all, if you have less than 1,000 followers on Instagram and you're wondering if it can work for your business, I am here to tell you that it absolutely can. So now it is time for your Instagram makeover. And the best part is that it's going to happen in 5 simple steps. The goal of how this thing is going to work today is I'm going to show you examples of previous students in a before state, and then previous questions, and then I'm gonna show you examples of students who've been in the same place and how they worked past that in order to show the complete makeover. So we're gonna be having real life examples and advice. Now, before we actually dive into the content, I wanna take 10 seconds to say, I want you to be in the situation on the outside looking in. Because a lot of times people will say, I'm going to use examples from interior designers and photographers and nutritionists. I'm going to have a wide variety of examples. But people will hear the examples and they'll say, oh, well, I'm not an interior designer, so that doesn't apply to me. Or I'm not a photographer, so that doesn't apply to me. What I'm saying is that the things that we all struggle with on Instagram for our business applies to business owners, period. So if it feels like it's resonating with you on a topic sense, my advice is going to be the same for you, regardless of your business and regardless of your industry. So the first step to this Instagram makeover is a question that I get asked all the time. How do I get more followers? I want to make over my account so I get more followers. Now, we've already established you don't need more followers, but if you want to get more followers, I just want to make sure one thing. They're the right kind of followers, the kind of followers who are going to transition into customers. So let's chat about how we can make that happen. Okay, we're going to start. I got an email, our support team got an email that said, I would really like it if Jasmine could put me on a hotspot to help me figure out why I'm not getting more followers. I feel like I'm doing the best I can and I would love to grow. So I was like, okay, let me take a look at Kayla's account. So what you're looking at right now, at the time that I received this email from Kayla, she had 320 followers and her bio reads, Kayla, interior architect, set on making your space work. Site and shop at Link, located in New York, works international, Facebook group for tips designing your dream space. I was like, okay. So what you're looking at right now were the first 18 photos that I saw. I got to her Instagram account, I scrolled, I saw the 9 photos, I scrolled again, and I saw another 9 photos. So looking at the first 18 photos of her grid, I had to ask myself, okay, so what really is an interior architect? Like, does she actually build the space? Does she bring in the decor? I wasn't sure what that meant. And then as I was looking through her photos, I was still a little confused. Like, what really do you do? So if she's asking me on how to get more followers and you're here and you want to know how to get more followers, here are 3 things that you can do to improve your account. But I'm going to be using examples from students of mine to actually articulate why I think it's working. So we're going to use a student of example. Her name is Lindy Galloway. She has 40,000 followers and her bio reads, Lindy Galloway Interiors, designs to make your heart go pitter patter. Pretty things we've created are on HGTV, Domino, Huffington Post, and more. And then a link out. So now we know that she designs homes and she's been featured. Okay, so number 1 thing that you could do to get more followers would be to show your work. Now, I know this seems really basic, but so often we miss the mark because we just assume that people will know what we do based on the initial few photos or the bio. But the thing is, in order for you to book and get and grow more business, you actually have to show people what you actually do. I think Lindy does a great job at constantly updating. She's posting on Instagram 1 to 2 times a day. And she also has very thoughtful captions at bringing people on the journey and celebrating her success. Here's an example. I remember about 3 years ago when the dream of becoming an interior designer was still just a small voice in my head. I had no proper schooling or any interior design experience, and my qualifications mainly involved scrolling Pinterest and rearranging my own home. I used to stare at images like this on Pinterest and wonder if I could one day create something like this. It's kind of unreal that now I'm staring at my own pictures and so grateful that the whisper in my head has now become a full-blown dream that I get to live out every day. So not only is she showcasing what she does, she's showcasing who she is and the purpose of her business. She's living out her dream to give other people their dream homes. So like I said, she's active every day. She's having thoughtful captions. She's tagging, participating in hashtags, and tagging other vendors within those photos. She's basically showcasing what she does that points back to who she is as a professional and finding personal spins along the way. So point number 2, the second thing that Kayla can improve, or all of us could improve if we want to get more followers, is we want to create continuity. Now, continuity, have you ever looked at an Instagram account and you go through the grid and you're like, wow, this looks really good. And you don't know exactly why it looks so good. We get into understanding the psychology of how you view Instagram and what makes photos good on Instagram. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how Lindy has learned from the course how to create continuity. So what you're looking at right now is a screen grab of 9 photos on her Instagram feed. And when we talk about continuity, we focus on 3 things. We focus on light, color, and negative space. Negative space is just like what I call breathability to photo. Because the thing that happens on Instagram quite often is that people put a lot of close-up photos together on Instagram so that the grid looks very heavy and dense and crushed together. So what you see here is color. Color mainly focused on blue, grays, and whites. What you also see is light. You see a lot of natural light coming in from side lit directions that she's being very conscious of. And you also feel like that negative space. She has some photos that are very busy, and then she has some very photos that are like pulled away, like that bathroom photo in the second row all the way to the right. That's easy, that's light, that's breathable, versus perhaps the photo all the way on the left in that corner where you see a lot of the mirror and the lamps and everything cramped together. She has a nice balance of that. Now, another thing that we take into consideration in my course is that we talk about how do you transition, how do you create a flow within a grid that's not jarring. Sometimes people have naturally lit photos and dark photos and cramped photos, iPhone photos, professional photos, and it just kind of looks like it's a little messy. What has happened here is that we can now look at color, light, and negative space. Here she has transitioned to a different time of year, so we see a lot of browns and oranges and whites. And Lindy has learned how to create that consistency and flow by actually being conscious of the photos that you're posting in the order that you're posting them. Now, the third step to getting more followers on Instagram, this is where I say hire a photographer, and this is where a lot of people will give me the stink eye. Like, who does she think she is? Of course she thinks that everybody can hire a photographer because she's a photographer. Of course she thinks we have, like, wait, hold on, slow your roll. Keep an open mind with this suggestion and understand that it will happen over time. So when I say hire a photographer, it's because we have to be able to showcase what our business does from a professional perspective. And the best way that that happens on a highly visual platform like Instagram is to have bomb photos. Okay, but let's kind of back it on up. Let's come from a place of humility. Let's come from a place of growth. I am showing you right now what Lindy's feed looked like in 2014. And far be it from me, when I look at Lindy's feed in 2014, it looks a lot like Kayla's feed that I just showed you, right? What we see is we don't see a color theme. We don't see continuity. We see a lot of iPhone photos, and we're not really sure what Lindy does. But I'm not going to come across like I had I had my ish together. I will be honest. What you're looking at right now is a screen grab of my Instagram account in 2014. By this time in my career, I had already become internationally recognized. I had built a personal brand. I was highly successful and had won awards for my work. Now, if you came across my Instagram account in 2014, you would not think I was a professional photographer. You would look at this and be like, she likes Ryan Gosling, she likes reading books. Like, yeah, no, she's definitely not a professional photographer. So all I'm saying is that shortly after, when I decided to make over my Instagram account, I had to say, these are the changes that I'm making, and I became very aware of it. That was the same conversation that Lindy started having in 2015, when she slowly started implementing and working more with a professional photographer, which leads us to where we are today with Lindy's account. She works with primarily a professional photographer all the time because she understands that in order to grow her business, in order to work with her dream clientele, in order to run a profitable business, she has to be able to showcase her business in a way that attracts the right kind of followers who become customers. Lindy had said that Insta180 has been the most valuable tool in growing my Instagram account by 20,000 followers. The lessons walk me through how to have an intentional account that is translating monthly into paying clientele. Okay, so you hear this and you're like, no, Jasmine, you don't understand what it's like to have a business. I wear so many different hats. I don't have the money to invest in a photographer. I don't have the money to invest in Instagram tools. I don't have the money to blank. And every time somebody comes at me with all the reasons why Instagram's not going to work for their business, I come back and I say, boo, you gotta use Instagram. Specifically, if you want to build dream collaborations, you can do it by way of Instagram direct message. So every time, I'm telling you, every time, please do not come at me with a reason why your Instagram is broke. Because every time you come at me, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna say one thing. Jasmine, I don't have any money. Instagram direct message. Jasmine, nobody knows who I am. Instagram direct message. Jasmine, I just need to get discovered. Instagram direct message. Jasmine, I wanna be taken seriously. Jasmine, I wanna hustle. I just don't know how. Instagram direct message. Instagram direct messages are literally the gift that you have been waiting for. The Instagram skies have opened and little Instagram angels have dropped to us. Instagram direct message was a total game changer. One of my students, her name is Vicky. She went through our program and she ended up sending me a DM, putting me to the test to see if I was going to respond. Because I'm like, reach out to people on Instagram direct message. So that's what she did. And she said, any advice on how to connect with bloggers, influencers on Instagram? Is it a bad approach? Is email the best way still? Trying to find people to shoot for New York Fashion Week, huge leap for me, but doing it. Any advice? And so because I talk faster than I type, I just brought up my phone and I recorded 2 messages and said, hey, you got to reach out to people on Instagram direct message. I want you sending 200 DMs. She responds, thank you for the advice. That was it. Let's take a little bit of a back step and understand where Vicky's coming from. So this is at the time when we started having these conversations. She had about 2,400 followers. She's a photographer. She does weddings, fashion, editorial in Windsor, North Toronto, and Detroit. Would love to collaborate. Let's chat. Okay, so that's what we know and see about Vicky. She's a hustler trying to connect with other influencers so that she can give them photos, and in exchange, they give her shout outs on social media so that she can grow her social platforms and book more of the people she wants to work with. So this is the backstory of what she learned in some of my programs and put to the test.
Okay, so let's chat a little bit about a social curator user by the name of Vicky Bartel. And she hit me up on a DM, no less, on Instagram, and she was just like, Jasmine, I want to shoot fashion bloggers at New York City Fashion Week. Fashion Week was about 2 to 3 months away. And my advice to her was, if you want to get in contact with them, the best way to do it is through Instagram. So shoot them a DM. Now, the key to shooting, like crafting the right type of DM is to ensure that you personalize it. Like, you don't want to have like a blank copy and paste message. So the advice to her was to personalize my name and then also drop a little bit something special about what she likes about their Instagram account. Does that take time? Yes, a little bit. Now, the base of the DM could be the same, but it would be like, hey, when somebody DMs me and says, hey, Jasmine, I really like this. I hope JD and Polo are doing well. That just goes to show me that they've done a little bit of research about who I am, and I think it personalizes the response. So I said, Vicky, I want you to DM at minimum 200 social influencers, 200 fashion bloggers. So why did I say 200? Because 200 is a number that's really intimidating. By me saying 200, she heard 200 and thought, you know what, that's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna do it. That just goes to show she's a hustler. I could say, hey, go DM 200 people, and other people might say, oh my God, I can never do that. And then they just quit. For me, it's not like 200 is a magic number. It's just like after you hit up 200 people, it just shows that you really want it. So here's the crazy thing. She emails me, I'm just going to read something. She says, I sent out 230 DMs to bloggers all over North America. Now, I would say that half of them didn't see the message, and then a big majority of them said, you know what, sorry, we have our own photographer traveling with us. Now, when she heard that people were either not responding or saying, sorry, we have another photographer, she got really discouraged, and she wanted to give up, but she didn't. Every single day, she was following up DMs, finding new people to connect with. And she says, at the end of the day, I ended up booking 14 bloggers in 2 days. Okay, I'm not sure if it's useful, but I'm gonna attach a few screenshots. So she's including a few photos of what she did at New York Fashion Week. But here's the thing about Vicky. Not only is she a hustler, she wants to help other people. So she sent me a few tips for people who wanna connect with people via DM. So let's break those down.
Let's chat a little bit more about Vicky and how awesome she is. She said, after investing in my Instagram with Jasmine's courses, I began to see actual inquiries and bookings through the platform. I trusted to know the latest info on what's happening with Instagram and how to make it work for my business. Now, here's the thing. The reason why this worked out so well is because as part of the program is I talk about how actually to navigate DMs, how to craft what you're supposed to say, and I included Instagram direct message templates on knowing what to say and how to show up. So the third step to this Instagram makeover, because one, we want to know how to find the more followers, and then we want to know how we can use Instagram direct message to grow our business, but we got to get the foundation right, and that starts here, and that is how to create your boss bio. Okay, so let's start with an example to walk you through and create an, I was going to try to say analogous, but that's not the word. I just want it to sound fancy and it makes no sense. What? Yes, analysis. That's what we want to do, an analysis, not analogous. I was homeschooled, leave me alone. Okay, so here's the question. How do you keep the same flavor with your pictures? I'm often with friends or colleagues or speaking at an event and I can't control the setting nor placement of me or the things in the pictures, and it's affecting the overall flavor. So the support team got this email, and I was like, I'm going to dig in and I'm going to see what I can do. So here we have Claudine's Instagram account. At the time that she had emailed, she had 704 followers. And this is what her profile reads: dietitian and foodie, moderator and speaker, human productivity strategist. Now, I don't know what a human productivity strategist is, but that's a lot of descriptions. So I was like, okay, let me go in and let me take a look at her feed. Here, what we're looking at is Claudine. At the time when I looked at her account, this is what I saw. The first 9 photos, and I'm like, do I see a foodie here? Do I see a nutritionist? Do I see a moderator? Do I see a human productivity strategist? I'm like, I don't know. And then I scroll down to the other 9 photos, and I was like, do I see foodie here? Do I see nutritionist here? And I was like, I don't really know. So my advice always becomes, if you have a grid and you look at it and it seems confusing, or people are like, what is this person's point of view? My advice is to fix the bio before you fix the feed. Because if you get the bio right and tight, everything else follows as a result. So let's break this down. 5 things that you have to do to create a boss bio on Instagram. Number 1, I want you to get focused with your title. How do you want people to describe you? And I'm telling you, I need you to make it as easy as possible. I always tell people, I want you to explain what you do like I'm 5 years old. Because oftentimes when people will say, instead of somebody saying I'm a photographer, they'll say, I'm a purveyor of fine heirloom images for a family's legacy. And I'm like, no, not on Instagram, but we got to keep it as simple as possible, because we have to train people how they are to describe us to their friends. Let's break this down. Let's go back to Claudine as an example. Dietitian and foodie, moderator and speaker, human productivity strategist. Let's actually put ourselves in the shoes of people as we talk about other accounts. You don't go up to your friend and say, you got to follow Claudine because she's a dietitian, she's a foodie, she's a moderator, she's a speaker, she's a human productivity strategist. No way. You probably use 1, maybe 2 words to describe to your friend why they should follow somebody else on Instagram. Too many descriptions become confusing because now nobody knows how to understand how your feed is a benefit to them and how your feed fits into their Instagram. They're like, why am I following her? I'm not quite sure. But I did see a little bit of a tip, because she says, join my nutrition and health community here, which leads me to think that she's making money. She's monetizing her business on Instagram by way of a health community. If I was Claudine and I had a health community, I want people to only see me in relation to my business, which is a dietitian and a foodie. Those are the 2 I would focus on. Now, she could absolutely still talk about being a moderator and a speaker and a human productivity strategist, whatever that is. She could still talk about that in posts and captions, but really the bio is going to dictate how the feed will look. Point number 2 of how to create a boss bio is you want to list the benefits for your followers. Why should people follow you? On Instagram, specifically in social media, there are so many people who do what you do. Now, you know you're a special snowflake, and your mama said you're a special snowflake, and I don't doubt it. But the fact of the matter is, you have so many people who are your competitors. Now, the way that you stick out, when people always say, Jasmine, how do I stick out on Instagram? List your benefits. Why should people follow you? Because if I was Claudine, it's not enough to say that I'm a nutritionist. It's not enough to say that I'm a foodie, because I could be both of those things, but here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you weekly recipes, or I'm going to give you tips for meal plan, or I'm going to give you homemade snack recipes. Whatever the benefit is, now somebody says, oh, I know why I should follow this foodie. I know why I should follow this nutritionist, because I'm getting recipes. I'm getting meal plans. List the benefits. Because when we do that, we understand that our Instagram account isn't about us. Our Instagram accounts are everything that we could do for our followers. Now, I love seeing your cat on Instagram, and I love seeing your baby eat Cheerios in the breakfast. That's all fine and interesting. But if your feed is comprised mostly of all these personal events and you're not really using it to showcase your business, it's not to the benefit of your followers. So, understanding that your account is in a place of service to your followers, and it becomes a game changer. So point number 3 of creating a boss bio is we have to ask ourselves, who is our account for? Now, the more specific you are for who your Instagram account is for, the better off it's going to be. Now, I know it seems counterintuitive. You're like, I want my account to be for everybody in the world. Listen, it doesn't work like that. The minute you actually put a stake in the ground and say, my Instagram account is for busy moms. I am a foodie who helps young entrepreneurs. I'm a nutritionist for single dads. The minute you come out and say, my Instagram account serves this group of people, I know it seems odd, but trust me on this. When you say, I am for these people, people on the outside will say, I like that. I don't know why it works, but it just does. You're going to be attracting more people who are pre-qualified, not just to become your followers, but to turn into customers. I think that you should state out into the universe what you want, and it will come exactly back to you. Why is this important? Because when an Instagram account feels like it's tailor-made for a follower, oh my gosh, this Instagram account is a special snowflake. This person is talking just to me. Well, if a person feels like that, there's a higher chance of converting them from a follower to a customer. Point number 4 of creating a boss bio is you want to list the location and the contact information. Now, you're probably sitting here and being like, oh my God, Jasmine, that's so basic. Guess what, honey? Why am I saying that? Why am I saying honey today? I don't know why I'm saying honey. Guess what, sweetheart? I look at literally hundreds of Instagram accounts every single week. And the vast majority of people are not listing where they are located or how they can be connected. So my advice to you is to include at minimum one of these things: your email, your phone number, your address if you have a physical location and you want people coming to your store. And you can also hashtag your location, hashtag LA, hashtag NYC, hashtag Miami, so that when people are looking at city-based location hashtags, they can come across your business, which is really darn amazing. The last step of having a boss bio is giving away a party favor. So you want to give a gift and get a connection. Let me explain what I mean by this. Because I want you more than anything to use Instagram with a strategy. Because it's not enough for you to say, well, I'm posting on Instagram, because it doesn't work. It's not like a box for you to check. Like, see, Jasmine, it's not working for me. I'm showing up and nobody's talking to me. Well, my question will then come back to you. How are you building your business with Instagram? That's a very different question. I've come to know and believe that we must create customers. We can't just hope for customers. So if you don't have an active plan, if you don't have an active strategy to actually create customers, then there's a good chance that you're leaving so much money on the table, which comes, you're probably gonna ask me, okay, I'm ready to do this. How do I do this? Well, I've come to believe that if you give a gift to a new follower, it will help you grow your newsletter list. Now, in order for you to create a customer, a very good idea would be, well, to connect with them 2 ways. Number 1, on Instagram. But if you give them a gift and they have to sign up for it, you also get their email, which will empower you to grow your newsletter list. So now you have 2 opportunities to foster a customer relationship. Number 1 on Instagram, and number 2 in their inbox. So I have tested on Instagram. I've given away ebooks, I've given away guides, I create video tutorials. I put out a way for people to come on Instagram because I'm playing the long game. I do not believe that you get a customer overnight. Like, could it happen? Absolutely. But I've come to know that when I foster relationships with people over a prolonged period of time, they don't just become customers, they become ride or die evangelists. So that's exactly what I want you to do. So now let's go through this boss bio in review. Number 1, description. Tell me who you are in simple terms. Number 2, the benefits. Why should I follow you? Number 3, who is this account for? The more specific you are, the better. Number 4, to list your contact information. How do I reach you? And number 5, your party favor. So let's take a look at an example of how I do this. Number 1, my description. I'm a business strategist and photographer. Who is my account for? Entrepreneurs. What's the benefit? I help entrepreneurs grow social platforms. How do you contact me? There's my email address. And what's the gift? Get free stock photos and video tutorials here. So that is how the boss bio is working. And the thing that I have to make sure that I reiterate again and again is that I want you to use your Instagram bio as a business card. This is your digital business card. So I want to make sure that you use 150 characters and that one link with the strategy. not to hope for customers, but to go and create customers. And we learned so much about understanding, number one, who the customer is and what they want and how to create that content inside the course. But because this class is literally only 60 minutes, I'm just trying to give like a great kind of like punch and munch type of approach to this. So here we're going to get into the fourth component of the makeover, because once you find, okay, I want more followers and I'm getting them. And then you understand, well, now I'm using collaborations to grow my business, even if I don't have a lot of money. And now my boss bio, my business card on Instagram is getting legit. How do I connect with dream customers? Now, before I get into this example, how many of you are sitting here frustrated because you want to work, you're very thankful for your business, you're thankful for your customers, but you want to work with a different type of customer. If you've ever been in that position where you want to work with a different type of customer, maybe somebody in a different market, in a different area, a different class, somebody who is in a socioeconomic difference, that's what you want to work with, awesome. How do you attract them? Let's dive into an example. I am trying to market myself as a luxury destination wedding photographer. I know who my ideal client is, a fashion blogger. So I'd like to post a mix of weddings and photos of myself that look like style blogger photos, but should I be posting more than the other? I try to post a little of everything, but it gets tough because I feel like I don't know what to say or if anyone cares. I'm feeling a bit lost and confused, so I'm looking for help in finding out what I'm doing wrong and how can I correct it to get my business moving forward. So this is an email that I received from Senya, and I felt really bad because I know the struggle of wanting to change my demographic. I wanted to work with a different type of client, so I had to be really conscious of what I was putting out online. When I went to Senya's Instagram account, at the time that I went to go look at it, she had about 3,900 followers on Instagram. So let's go to her bio. Photographer, an eye for elegance and a heart for adventure. Based in Philly, traveling worldwide. That's funny to me because Senya just told me that she wants to work with fashion bloggers, she wants to shoot editorial photos, and she wants to be a destination photographer. Those three things that she's telling me she wants, she's not including in her bio. She's not telling me that that's her style. And when I look at her Instagram feed, these are the first 18 photos that I saw at the time, she's a very talented photographer. Like, she's good. But do I see editorial? No. Do I see hints of fashion blogging or stylistic photos? No. Does it look like she's talking about being a destination photographer? No. So if you're not attracting your dream customers, there's probably a good chance that you're not showing actually what you want to create. And this is about the time that people are like, yeah, but Jasmine, I don't have the resources to start shooting or start producing or start getting dream customers. And this is where I'm going to talk about things to improve. What could you do to start attracting dream customers before you actually have the dream customers? I'm going to use an example. No, I'm going to use a photographer. Since Senya was a photographer, I'm going to use a photographer so that we create parallels, but we're going to find the similarities in our businesses. Jenna has 113,000 followers, and this is her bio. Photographer, weddings, fashion, lifestyle. She tells you exactly what she wants to shoot. LA and love to collaborate. Tips on posing in photos in the link below. Boom. She is telling you what she wants to shoot and how she wants to shoot it. But she's also preparing future customers in what way? I will show you how I want you to look. So she's preparing customers to look at this video and think, yeah, okay, this resonates with me, or no, this is not a good fit for me. So what does this come down? What is the whole takeaway from this section is I want you to showcase what you want to create. And it's not always easy, but to the hustlers who make it happen, it really works. So if we look at Jana's account as an example, what we see is a lot of editorial. What we see is a lot of high fashion. But how did she get there? How was she able to transition from one customer to a high-end luxury destination customer? Well, she started collaborating with other people to create content for dream customers. Now, she wasn't collaborating with new customers. She was collaborating with people in an industry to say, we want the same thing. How can we come together, leverage our talents, unique talents, so that we can both be growing? One thing that she did, she's originally from Alabama. She moved to Los Angeles and started collaborating with new actresses, new fashion bloggers, people who didn't have a following. But what you're looking at right now is Jamie Chung. And Jamie Chung is a highly successful model and actress now. But when her and Jana first started working together, they didn't have a lot of Instagram followers. Now Jamie has over millions. And what happened was Jana said, I want to start working and shooting more editorial. I want to shoot weddings for girls who have a high sense of fashion. And Jamie says, I have a high sense of fashion. I don't have a photographer. They started collaborating because they wanted to grow their networks of the same type of people. Now, if you notice, or if you follow in like the fitness world, there's the Tone It Up girls, Karina and Katrina. Now, before they had millions of followers, Jana met them in LA by going to their fitness workout classes and said, I'm a photographer if you guys ever want to get in front of my camera. Now, why did this happen? Well, Jana wanted to create content with the Tone It Up girls and, at the time, their boyfriends, so that Jana could build a portfolio of engagement photos for girls who are fashionable and into the fitness scene. So Tone It Up girls got a resource, they got photos. Jana got these really cool photos for her portfolio, and they were both targeting the same people, and they were able to grow that way. So what are we talking about here? This isn't just about photographers. This is about you and your business reaching out to other people who may be in your industry or not be in your industry, but you want the same thing. And then you must create content that your dream customer wants to see, because you're gonna have a very hard time having somebody pay you for something that they don't, one, see what it is, and two, know that you're capable of doing that thing. You want dream customers, you gotta create content that they wanna see. Jenna says that I refer people to Insta180 because Jasmine is an open book. She gives real tips and advice that produce real results. I've always posted consistently on Instagram, but after Insta180, I realized I had a huge potential to sell a product on Instagram, and I'm successfully making sales on Instagram. So now let's get into the fifth and final piece of your Instagram makeover. And that fifth and final piece is creating consistency on Instagram. You have to show up every day on Instagram. You have to have a plan, and you have to have a strategy, and you have to know who you're targeting, and you have to know what they want to see, and you have to build these collaborations. And though it seems overwhelming, it's not once you have a plan. And once you have a plan, then you can be consistent. And I know that Instagram works for my students because they know who they're targeting. My question is, do you know who you're targeting? They know how to use Instagram to attract their dream customers. They know what types of photos to post. They have already done the heavy lifting, and they are successful because Insta180 taught them how to create their plan. If you're looking for a plan, there's a good chance that you need some guidance getting there. So if you take away one thing today, I want you to know that you can use Instagram to dramatically increase your revenue without spending all day on Instagram. Remember how we talked about Chelsea Mason in the beginning, who went from $36,000 a year to $120,000 a year? The only marketing she does is all organic and on Instagram, and she spends 25 minutes a day on Instagram. I do all of my social media in 45 minutes a day, and I'm on multiple platforms. You don't need to spend all day if you have a plan. So we started this conversation by saying, if you want to grow your business and attract dream customers, Instagram is the fastest way to do it. And nothing that I have taught today is like a theory. This is all stuff that I went through with my Instagram account and started teaching to other people. Like Bailey Dennis, she said, since starting Insta180, I have had 8, that's right, 8 inquiries for weddings in less than 3 weeks. Crazy and so exciting. Jennifer Ross said, I'm thrilled to announce I just made my first sale on Instagram. Thank you, Jasmine, for sharing your brilliance and your energy. And the fact of the matter is, I gave my Instagram a makeover, and I wanted to do it in a proven way to show that anybody, even people with like a hot mess 2014 grid and had no idea what I was doing, it is absolutely possible. And I can say this with full conviction because I totally know what it feels like to not have anybody respond to Instagram posts. I know what it feels like to have writer's block and feel like nobody's paying attention and you're trying to use it to grow your business. I know what it feels like when people leave a comment like, cute, fun, yay. And you're like, how do I engage with this? Like, what do I even say? I also know the joy and the gratification to say, I am making a change. I'm going to show up on Instagram. I'm going to share my truth. I'm going to talk about my story. I'm going to use my business on Instagram to grow and attract people that I want, so that the engagement comes from a natural place and people are like, I see you, I know you, I like you. We want to be identified on Instagram. But what we have to have is a plan. And we need to have a plan that works. And this plan is exactly what I have done to grow my account to more than 230,000 followers. And this is what I teach my students. Students like Miss DeCarbo, she's an art teacher, and she grew her account in 3 months to over 3,600. She grew her account 3,600 followers. Liz Pinto is a photographer in Ecuador, and in 3 months, she gained 5,000 followers. She now teaches photography workshops. She's doing just amazing things in South America. And one of my favorite success stories is breaking free with Whitney. When our paths first crossed, she had 100 Instagram followers. In a matter of 3 months, she got over 2,000 followers. Now the girl is just killing the game. She has thousands of followers, but just in 3 months, she had gained 2,000 followers because she had a plan and because she had a strategy. And Insta 180 is my step-by-step Instagram for business plan. Because I don't want you here for kicks and giggles. I want you to get more followers who then start engaging and then they become customers. I don't want you missing a step. I don't want you to be confused. And in order for us to effectively articulate how this plan works, it is broken up into 4 sections. The first section is what I call the attraction section. How are you actually attracting people to your Instagram account? And we break this down in the first 5 lessons. We talk about how to get more followers, and we talk how to get more followers with hashtags, but not just any hashtags, the right hashtags for your business and your dream customer. And we talk about how to get real engagement so that people are actually talking back to us. And in order for us to do that, we have to learn how to write better captions. And once we write better captions, well, then we need a strategy to put it into place. And this is the time we say, but Jasmine, it's not so easy to attract new followers because that only works for people who have really interesting lives. And let me tell you, I am like part of what I call the couch renegade. The vast majority of my business life, I am literally sitting on my couch in sweats or in yoga pants. My hair is up in a messy bun. I have no makeup on. I live a relatively boring life. But what I can tell you is that I have taught myself how to create a month of Instagram posts in 1 day. I will absolutely be able to show you how to do the same thing. You don't think you're interesting? Guess what, honey child? We will create that content regardless. Now we're also going to get into the second section is once you attract them, well, how do you get people to engage? How do you get them talking back to you? And we focus that on the next 5 lessons, which is how to use Instagram stories, but then specifically how to use Instagram stories as business commercials. Yes, you're going to be making your own commercials on Instagram to talk about your business. We also get through how you can do giveaways and collaborations and the purpose of why you're on Instagram. And for people who are intimidated, we have completely unintimidating iPhone photography lessons because people will say, Jasmine, I don't know how to take nice photos. It's all good. I have your back. I'm going to show you a quick 20-second sample of what you can expect. And I'm going to tell you, we real fancy up in these parts.
I use a paper towel just to have like bounce some white light back into it. Just place the paper towel along the side of the edge. And all it basically does is it puts light back onto the lower portions of the shaded area. Simply unroll my paper towel. Flip side, maybe that's a little bit ghetto and it doesn't bother me. So now what I've done is I want to make sure that the eyeball of the heart and the top of the telegram are intersecting at points according to the rule of thirds. My grid is present so I can see what is level, and I'm liking what I'm seeing now.
All right, y'all. So we're going to get into the third section, which is the conversion. Because first you need to attract them, then you need them to engage, and then you need to convert them to customers. And this is the part that a lot of people get stuck. They're like, okay, I have 700 followers. I have 1,000 followers, but none of them are my customers. We're going to focus on consistency. How can you style and edit your photos? How can you be posting even when you're like, I don't know what to post today? I got your back. How do you know what to do? Maybe there's people who's like, I have 2 businesses or I have 3 businesses. What belongs in my account? We break all of that down so you feel really confident. And people will come like after they say, Jasmine, will you talk about converting? But I've already tried Instagram and it just doesn't work for me. Well, if you've tried Instagram up until this point and now you're telling me it doesn't work, I have to believe that there's a little part of you that thinks something could change if you're willing to step up and do something different. So in my mind, because I'm a straight shooter and I just tell you exactly how it is, it looks like you have two options. The first option is you can figure out on your own and you're gonna waste time and effort and you're gonna miss out thousands of dollars in sales. Or you can go with option number two. And option number two is to fast track your sales using my step-by-step Instagram for Business program, Insta 180. It's you can keep on doing what got you here, but it won't get you where you wanna go, or you could fast track and know exactly what you wanna do. The last and final section is what we call the endorsement section. Once people become your customers, we just don't want them to be customers. We want them actively engaging and endorsing your business to their friends and family. And we do that by having, learning how to have an iPhone, like a library of photos for you to use, and how to personalize your engagement, how to reach out one-to-one, how to define your Instagram account and use your profile in order to attract the right people. And guess what? We also talk about Instagram ads. How can you elevate your business by way of Instagram ads? Now, people are like, okay, Jasmine, but will this work in my industry? I saw you talk about interior designers. I saw you talk about photographers. I saw you talk about foodies or nutritionists, but what about me? My business is different. Well, what I can tell you is that I have worked with life coaches and florists and hairstylists, photographers, jewelry designers, real estate agents, fitness professionals, models. I have worked with so many different people. Now, because I don't know what you do personally, I can speak confidently. If you could see one other person in your industry who's killing the game at Instagram, if you could find one other person in your industry who's using Instagram to grow their business, I'm gonna look at you straight in the eye and say, it could work for you if you have a plan and if you have a strategy. Because my goal for you is to get a sale from Instagram in the next 60 days. If you show up, if you do the homework, if you engage, if you follow the plan step by step by step, it's going to revolutionize the way that you approach it because you're no longer showing up guessing if what you're doing is going to work. We want to make sure that you're not alone. We want to provide accountability. So how do we do accountability? Well, we want to make sure that you're getting everything from each lesson and you're handheld every single step of the way. So after each lesson, you have a homework assignment, you fill it in, it helps you navigate where you should be with your account and what you're doing. And as you are watching today, I told y'all, for people who are showing up live, we have some bonuses just for y'all because I appreciate you being here. If you're like, okay, I want to use Instagram, I feel like this is for me. Okay, well, I will give you 10 extra stock photos that you can use on Instagram. So basically a week and a half of content done for you so that you have no excuses not to show up. Now you're like, but Jasmine, I really want to get sales on Instagram. I'm tired of using it without having people want to buy what I'm selling. Well, I created how to get your first Instagram sale, how to get your first Instagram sale, or how to get your first sale on Instagram. I just make things up as I go. Basically, I walk you through exactly how I got my first sale on Instagram, but then I go through and I interview our students to see what they did, how their approach varied, and what industry they were in to see if it could apply to all of us as we're trying to get our first sales on Instagram. It's a comprehensive guide with over like 30 pages. And the last bonus for watching here today is where we're going to talk about Instagram influencer marketing. And I am so excited to be hosting a live class with my good friend and like Instagram savant, Julie Solomon. Julie is actually a publicist. She's like a famous, amazing hustler publicist. And she works with brands and she also works with Instagram influencers. So she could see the industry from two perspectives, and she's going to be talking about how to collaborate with brands and monetize your Instagram account. And she's going to be doing this from two perspectives. Do you want other businesses to like send you sponsorships and send you gifts and you talk about them and they pay? Also, if you are a business and you want to work with influencers and you want to send them product, how much do you pay them? What do you do? How do you actually use this to grow your business? And all three of these bonuses are focusing on one thing. We want you to get customers faster. I don't want you just having metrics of getting more followers. I want you to get customers. So about this time, you're probably wondering, okay, Jasmine, but how much is this going to cost me? Well, you could pay a social media assistant and they could run this for you, and that could cost hundreds of dollars each month. I know that I have been paid thousands of dollars. Businesses will hire me and I'll consult them for thousands of dollars to understand how their business can be built with Instagram. But today you can get access to this entire course, all the lessons and the bonuses for 2 payments of $99. So starting today, if you pay $99, you will get access to an entire library of what you need to actually start growing your business and getting action today. If you decide to make a one-time payment of $197, you are going to get a free bonus that I am absolutely stoked about. This free bonus is how to create a month of Instagram content in one day. I hired a video crew to come into my house and watch me as I shoot an entire month of content in just one day so that you can do it also on your own and you feel confident about it moving forward. So as I create new content, as we add lessons, as Instagram changes, as the algorithm changes, as new things are happening, I create new lessons and I put them in the library, and you will have access to the library for the rest of your life, as long as this thing is online. So if you're like, I'm gonna go on vacation next week, I can't start, it's okay. It'll be back when you get back here from vacation. So my question to you is, do you want to join us? I would love to have you on the inside of Insta 180. So just as a reminder, the doors are closing on April 17th. So you have 6.5 days to actually make a decision. But I have to just say, those bonuses are looking pretty juicy, and we have a few other surprises for people who are investing early. So wink, wink, join us. Just to review, this is a look at all the lessons you will get access to today, starting for just one payment of $99, and then the second payment will come next month. You also get access to your first sale on Instagram guide. You get the 10 free stock photos. And you also get a bonus class with Julie Solomon. All right, y'all. So now it is time for a giveaway, which is my most favorite thing in class. I'm going to be picking one lucky winner to go through a personal 30-minute Instagram critique. If you would like your account critiqued, you can go to my Instagram account today. You'll see me. I'm wearing a hat and there's a bunch of cactus. Like the photo and leave a comment about the one thing you learned today in class. We're going to be picking one or maybe a couple winners by the end of cart closing. I will email you personally to let you know, but this is just a small way for me to invest in the community and say thank you for being here. So now we are going to get into your questions. We're going to be doing a live Q&A and dive in. Let's have a little bit of fun, y'all. I'm losing my voice, so excuse me while I yell. Okay, oh my God, there's quite a few questions. I'm gonna get through as many as possible. Loretta, so I do several different things. I am a music reviewer, connector, networker, correspondent for a music podcast on Facebook. Music artists and promoters come to me asking to review. I do not make any money from anything I do here. I want to change that. I'm also a business owner selling interchangeable handbags. I have Instagram accounts for each. The handbag page I will definitely make over, but the music person, how do I create continuity, especially when posting concert pictures or vinyl pictures? Okay, that's a really good question, and it's going to be hyper personalized to what you do. But you have to remember, not just Loretta, anybody else who has multiple accounts, and you're like, well, what if my account isn't all that pretty? I'm telling you that Instagram accounts don't have to be aesthetically the prettiest thing to ever exist. They just have to be tailor-made for an audience that wants to see the content that you're producing. So for Loretta, I would, it doesn't have to be like all white and flowy pictures. You just have to create continuity with having photos that are pulled back, various concerts, similar lighting. You can absolutely positively make up your account, but first you have to identify who you're targeting and then find a way to monetize it. Do I think that you should build trust with your audience? Yes. Are the reviews that you're doing valuable? Yes. Will you be able to charge for it? Yes. Once you go through and you make over your account and you have a plan and a strategy and understand how you're actually building your business as a result of that. Okay, Stacy, do you like to use a third-party app to schedule or plan your post and grid? I am really kind of the person that plans out my posts, but I'm really trying to post in real time. But I can recommend 2 planning apps that I think people have said the most amazing things about. Number 1 is Planoly, Planoly, and Later, Later. These are both apps in the App Store, and you will go through and you can actually look at your grid and you can plan it out. You can write your captions, and then what you'll do is you'll get a push notification to your phone, and they'll say like, "Hey, Stacy, it's time for you to post." So it's super helpful for people who are busy and on the go. Jane, how does this work for style bloggers where you don't actually have an actual product to sell? For style bloggers and anybody who works along the lines of affiliates, so style bloggers, people in MLM companies, people who are selling things on behalf of other companies, it works the same way. Now, here's the thing that I often tell people who sell the same thing. Like if you have an MLM business and you sell skincare, you have an MLM business and you're doing essential oils, if you're a fashion blogger, I can buy the same shirt from any fashion blogger. I can buy the same lavender essential oil from any essential oil distributor. So why would I buy from you? Because of the content that you create. How are you creating the stuff that I want to see as a dream customer? How are you connecting with me personally? If you don't have a plan and a strategy and a clear vision of what you're doing, which is what Insta180 provides for you, it's all about laying the foundation and understanding where am I going and who am I trying to attract? How do I speak to them? How do I show up? How do I make my content unique? How do I stick out in a saturated market? If you don't have that, you're gonna have a really hard time trying to monetize on the platform. Now, if you have all of that, it becomes really easy. Okay, I would like to say congratulations to Cassandra for just becoming a new Insta180 member, and Angel. I'm so happy to have you guys here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, even though I'm losing my dang voice. And Victoria, you guys, this is blowing up. Lashana Alfred, good to see you, boo. Okay, Autumn, starting a new mobile tanning business. Do I need the name of what I do in the business name on Instagram? Also, do I need only photos of me spray tanning people? What do I focus on? What we talk about in Insta180 is actually understanding the content that you should create for your audience. Because I could sit here and talk about what you should be posting. You could be doing a before, you could do an after, you could talk about the benefits of spray tan versus being out in the real sun or going to a tanning booth. You could talk about how spray tans are better for your hair, are better for your skin. You're gonna be creating valuable content to start attracting people and say, I don't want any spray tanner. I want her to come to my house and spray tan me. You can talk about that type of content and the value and the luxury of having somebody come to your own home. It's private. You can create content for days, but what we're really gonna be focusing on is understanding what do people want to see? Like, how do you speak to them? How do you create that content? And we really focus highly on setting, I say it again and again, I feel like I broke a record, y'all, but I promise it's about having a strategy, a foundation, and a plan. And we go through all of that in detail in the course. Okay. Jessica, do you think that we should list our email in our bio if we have Instagram for business and have an email button? Great, Jessica, I love that question. And if you have an Instagram, if you have a business Instagram and you have the email button within it, no, do not waste time on that. Find a different way to hashtag. Now you have more opportunities to talk more about what you do on your business card. All good. Welcome, Erica Weidel. Good to see you. And Nikki Coleman. Okay, as a wedding photographer, what can I post as a benefit to my clients? I feel like I post a lot of the pictures I do and telling their stories, and it's normally somehow engaging, but it's not selling. The thing that you want to do is to create value, is to educate your people on what it is you do. Because I know you're probably so talented. I know that there are a bunch of other business owners who are talented, but what's going to set you apart is how much information that you're going to be sharing. Things like how to plan for a perfect timeline for sunset photos, how to prepare that your bridal suite is ready in advance, how to limit your bridal party photos to just 25 minutes, how to say no to family pictures that have gone over an hour. So what you're going to do is you're going to create educational content on Instagram, because when people read and they're like, this person knows what they're talking about. I love their approach. I like who they are. Because the thing is, too many people are, posting photos of a couple and loving being like their day was so amazing. Yeah, well, there's like 6 million weddings every Saturday in the United States. What makes their love so unique? We don't quite know, but we know what makes you unique. And that's the value that you share that will start attracting customers, not just people who are following you for warm and fuzzies. Okay, Anonymous, I'm really confused. I know I need about 9 to 12 categories for Insta, but I haven't got a clue what. My sisters and I do audio stories for little girls and interactive magazines for teen girls. What categories could I use? Also, we do an author and book of the month. So Wendy Yellum, welcome to Insta180. I'm just trying to understand audio stories for little girls. Well, in that case, since you're doing audio stories, could you collaborate with an illustrator or a painter so that what you can do is have a painting or an audio story to go along with that? Now, Instagram is going to be a great platform, but remember, Instagram is a visual platform, and what you're selling isn't visual, at least the audio stories. You also said that you do interactive magazines for teen girls. The interactive magazines, that would be so cool because you could share tidbits of the articles that you're writing, as well as tiny bits of the magazine within the caption itself. To me, you can have content for days, because as you produce a new magazine, you can share tidbits out on Instagram, point back for the full article in the magazine that you're selling and monetizing. So there's that. Trisha McCormick, should you delete photos from your feed and start over? I get asked this question often, and I just want to remind people of the value of understanding growth. I actually, you know how I showed you what my feed looked like back in 2014, and it wasn't pretty, y'all. Like, it was not cute whatsoever. But I still leave it there because I like to look back and say, like, look at how much I've grown. People actually want to be a part of the journey. So my advice is, if you look at your grid, and maybe in the past like 2 or 3 weeks, there's something that just like is so awful, and you're like, what was I like? Why did I post that many, like too many margaritas, and I'm posting this picture? I just can't stand it. 2 to 3 weeks, go back in the content, delete anything that you absolutely hate. But anything beyond that, it's okay. Don't waste time trying to fix the past. I want you to use that time and try to amend the future. Look at where you're going, not where you were, boo. So don't waste that time. Focus on the content that you can create. Have a plan, have a strategy, know who you're speaking to and how to show up. Let's see. Would Insta 180 help me if I still have some doubts about my target audience? Yes, and here's why I can confidently answer that. Because in lessons 1 and 2, we hone in on who your target audience is. Now, I know, I understand, I'm really empathetic about the fear and like the stress of saying my business is just for this group of people. Like, I get it, but trust me and understanding the experience of saying my business is for women. My business is for women between the ages of 24 and 34. My business is for women who are 25 years old, who live in New York City, who are professional, who have a full-time job and a side hustle. The minute you hone in on who that person is and what they're struggling with and what their fears are and what excites them, and if they're married and where do they shop, we go through all of that stuff. All of a sudden, there's so much clarity around the content that you should be creating on Instagram. So yes, I think it can help. Yuri, how is Insta 180 different from Social Curator? So for people who are interested, okay, so for those of you who don't know, I have a monthly social media subscription specifically for Instagram and Facebook, where I provide photos and caption templates and an action plan. Now, Insta 180 is a foundational piece of Instagram. This is what creates your plan, your strategy, who you're talking to, and how to create the content. That's like a cake. And Social Curator is actually implementation. For days that you don't have photos, for days that you don't know what to say, I give you the resources every single month so that you can show up. So Insta 180 is Instagram foundations, plans, and strategies. Social Curator is brand new every month, and it's like icing for the cake. Okay, welcome Christina DiMarzio. Good to have you. And Alana Hurd. Thank you guys. Meadow Montez. Meadow, that's an awesome name. Okay, let's see. Is there a time frame as to when the class starts and ends, or do we go at our own pace? You go at your own pace. You can dive in. I've had some people complete the class in 2 days, where they just sit down an entire weekend, they go through all the content, and then they implement the following couple months. And then I've had people take up to 2 months to go through it. It's entirely at your own pace, but I will tell you that each lesson is like between 20 and 25 minutes, so they're fully digestible. A lot of times people will say that they listen to them while they're putting their makeup on, or they'll listen to them while they take a bath at night, so you're good. It's actually video and audio, but you can download the audio files if you're like on the subway listening to go to work. Kate, is Insta 180 helpful for coaches? As a service, it's hard to know what to post. And it's not like being a photographer, a florist, artist, nutritionist, foodie. What are your thoughts? Well, Kate, my objective when it comes to people who are selling a service and not a product is to, I know it's gonna rub you the wrong way, but you gotta show people what you do as a coach. Now, I don't know if you're like a life coach, a business coach, a fitness coach, whatever the case may be, you're a coach. And what you're selling is basically you. So how do you sell you? Well, you have to show people what you do. And so if I were you, I would reach out to photographers of people who want to collaborate. So you might not have the money to pay a photographer. If you don't have the money to pay a photographer, I would reach out to at minimum 200 photographers in my little area. And I would reach out to them and I would say, would you be interested in 2 training sessions, life coaching sessions, business coaching sessions, fitness coaching, whatever the case may be? You reach out and say, I will trade my services for your services. And then when the photo shoot comes around, you really focus on getting at minimum 30 to 40 photos from that photo shoot, showing what you do. Like, are you a business coach? Well, then I would take my iPhone, my iPad, my computer, or my laptop, and I would show myself working on the laptop. I would look away, I'd smile, I'd look down at my computer, I'd get my phone, I'd be on my phone, I'd wave on my phone, I'd be working on my phone. I'd get my iPad, I swipe the iPad. I show the iPad. I call a friend, a neighbor, a sister, my mom, a cousin, anybody to actually come to the photo shoot so that I can have a mock meeting or a mock training session, or I'd shake their hand. If I was a fitness professional, I'd be demoing like the exercises that people should be doing. If I was like a life coach, I'd be sitting somebody like putting my hands on top of theirs and being like, it's okay. We have to create content that shows what we do, and the only way we do that is by visuals. And the best visuals are created by way of professional photographers, but you can work with professional photographers without spending any money if you're willing to hustle. I'm losing my voice, you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's see. Courtney, do you have any specific advice for real estate agents? Courtney, can you ask a very specific question? Because I have advice for days for real estate agents. A lot of my students are real estate agents, and I think that Instagram kills the game for real estate agents. Like, what do I think you should do? I think you should have user-based, user-generated content. When people are walking into their home for the first time, when they're signing their papers, you should be doing Instagram stories. I think that you should get personalized bottles of champagne and take a picture of it and then leave it in that person's house. I think you should get keys that have personalized, like Jasmine and JD first home, and then you take a picture of it on Instagram, or you do an Instagram story and you take the keys and you have your phone and you're going like this, and then you knock on the door and they open the door and then there's the keys. Like, it's like there's so much content that you could be creating that's not a mere copy of an MLS listing. Girl, we can talk for days. Kayla, how do you go about getting stock type photos if you don't have natural light, studio or indoor space with natural light? Kayla, I shoot everything. I don't have a studio. I shoot at home, and I just shoot in front of a door or a window. But that's what basically Social Curator is all about. Social Curator is about getting you stock photos for you to use on Instagram to make it super easy for you to show up. Because remember how we talked about having consistency? It's the idea of really showing up. And it becomes very difficult because of all the hats you have to wear in your business. It's like, how do I have time to create these photos? I will walk you through and show you how to create time in your life and your business. But if you're like, that's not where I want to spend my time, I provide stock images for small business owners, and that's what I do. So if you have a problem and you want to be this resolution, awesome. But I also have options to be resolutions too. So you're not alone. We can literally handhold you through this process. Denise, I noticed your business account is on a personal settings. Does it matter if business account is not on business settings? I have a personal account. So the reason why I have not switched over to a business account is because Facebook owns Instagram. And Facebook is trying to get Instagram to function more like Facebook. And Facebook has business pages. Now on Facebook, you cannot have more than 5,000 friends. Anytime you get up to 5,000 friends, they're gonna force you to get a business page. If you have a business page, now what we've seen with the algorithm is that you're getting less and less organic reach. I personally, and it's all speculative at this point, but I personally believe that over time, it's not happening right now. It may or may not be happening right now. But I think that in the future, Instagram's going to be limiting business accounts being seen in the algorithm the same way that they're doing on Facebook. And for me, it's more important for the organic reach. Now, I know that there are some businesses, and it's just right for my business, there are some businesses who really need the swipe up feature. There are some businesses who have a physical location and they really want people to call them or show up with their address or leave a review or get directions. All of those are highly valuable benefits, but they don't apply to my business. Like, I don't need people coming up to my house. I don't want people calling me on my cell phone. I don't need people to email me through the app. Like, I have a very easy email address, info@jasminestar.com. It's in my bio. So for me, a business account doesn't make sense, but for other businesses, it does. Could I change my mind tomorrow? Yes. But for right now, it's how I think. I want to take, a couple more questions, but first I have to say, Jessica, Ula, Amy, Kate, Charmaine, Lydia, Perry, Miriam, Lisa, Cookie, Tracy, Marnie, Rachel, Laura, Louise, Marcy, Melissa. Okay, I'm gonna finish these right now, but I have to take a second to say thank you, that this was the day that you have decided to make a change. that you realize that up until this point, you've been using Instagram just to check something off a box and say, see world, I'm using it for my business and nothing's happening. Well, the reason why something may not be happening is because you don't know who you're targeting. You don't know how to show up. You don't know how to create the content and get that engagement. And that's when I see all these people come in. Like, it just makes me feel so honored to be that guide, because I understand that somebody's business today is wildly changing. So to Kathy, Amanda, Crystal, Tiffany, Carrie, Melanie, Nina, Ediana, Miriam, Hildy, Rachel, Megan, a bunch of other people, thank you. I appreciate you. December had asked, do you suggest reposting your Instagram to Facebook and other social medias to keep them different? I own a boutique. We actually get into this in Insta 180 about repurposing content. I do not advocate, y'all. We're already 20 minutes over the hour, so this will be the last question. But it's a good question to end on, because let's talk about the strategy. Like, I don't feel like we should all be spending hours each day again and again on the platform. What we want to do is, at least what I do, is I will share a photo on Instagram. Let's just say I share a photo today and it's Tuesday. Well, I won't automatically post that photo on Facebook. Why? Because people who follow me on both Instagram and Facebook will be seeing the same post, and it makes it less interesting. What I will do is I will post my Instagram post to Facebook maybe like 2 or 3 days later. So if I post in the morning on Tuesday morning, I will get that post maybe on Thursday or Friday towards the evening, so that I'm gonna be engaging with different people who might not have seen that post the first time around. And I never push my Instagram post to Facebook automatically, because you have @ mentions and you have hashtags that are broken, like they don't work. So what you wanna do is you wanna treat each platform separate. You can repurpose the content if you wanna repurpose it with a strategy, and we get into that strategy in Insta 180. For those of you guys who are here and dealt with me losing my dang voice, I want to say thank you. For those of you guys who are showing up, for those of you guys who continuously move forward, even if you decide to pursue Insta 180 or not, number one, I'm here from a place of gratitude that we have a place to hang out and build our businesses together. But for those of you guys who have made the decision to say that this marks the day of something different, thank you. I cannot wait for you to get on side of the members area. I cannot wait to see how it transforms your business. I cannot wait for you to become a part of the tribe. And I cannot wait for you to step in and use Instagram confidently, so that when you wake up in the morning, each morning, you know, I am hell-bent on doing the thing that I need to do for me, for my family, for my business. I believe that my purpose is to be a champion for underdogs and guide people to understand that they are uniquely qualified to give the world their gift. Their business, what they have to say, what they create, and what they make is a gift. So how do you share your gift with more people? I have come to learn and believe it is on social media, specifically on Instagram. For those people who've made the declaration and say, I'm ready to share my gift, I'm ready to up level, I'm ready to do big things in the world, I want to say thank you. It is an honor. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys. And now I am off to go enjoy a frosty beverage. I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love. Bye, guys.